Yo, it is Tuesday and I'm in Poland at the Tauron Arena in Krakow, and we're here with Frog Leap. I'm here with Frog Leap, just backstage in this arena backstage. The guys are just setting up on stage. I'm about to take this camera, go film the set. So it is 4:45, they go on at 5. Let's go have some fun.
Cheers, chaps.
Cheers.
First
Skål.
arena show.
Skål, mine venner.
Skål.
Tall.
Hi, Dan.
Welcome, diabetes.
Is this thing on?
Dung, 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 dung. Is this thing on?
We're about to play our first arena show in Poland at Tauron Arena in Krakow. I knew what it was called because there's a huge sign that says it up there. But we're all excited. What we are is the warm-up band for the 3 bigger bands, and that's great because these people are really, as you can hear, we're in an arena, there's no noise, so we need to make people make a lot of noise for the next few bands. That's how I'm seeing this.
Oh, it's a glorious day. Oh, it's a glorious day. Oh, it's a glorious. Oh, it's. Wait, coffee. Whoosh, whoosh. No sound effects needed. Today, I'm installing a high-speed network onto our editing setup. Now, I never thought this would be something I'd get excited about a few years ago. Actually, that's not true. I've always been a bit of a geek. And I'll keep this fairly brief in an attempt, for those of you that don't find this interesting, to not find it too boring. But what this is right here is a 10 gigabit Ethernet card, which is about to get installed in my PC behind me in the editing beast, and then a Cat7 Ethernet cable, which can support the kind of speeds this can handle. Now, very briefly, why, what, and how? You see that black box that the monitor's sat on? That is what's called a NAS, which is a network area storage or network attached storage. And basically it's like a load of hard drives that you can access over a network. So it's really good for collaborating, but it's also good for backing up all your stuff and keeping it safe. So instead of like over there when I used to have 12 hard drives for all the Musicisum stuff, we now have a load of big hard drives in one setup, and it means that it looks after all your data. You can have loads of space and it's awesome, but they're not always the fastest things to read and write data to and to edit off. And because we have got a lot of video data and we're about to kick off this new production cycle, we're going to be shooting a lot of 4K content, so it's going to get intense data-wise. So this is why I'm installing this. And what I'm really hoping is that not only is it really fast for uploading and downloading footage off it, but it will be fast enough for me to actually edit 4K footage directly from the drive. So fingers crossed. It should be, because in theory, a 10 gigabit Ethernet connection can get you about 1.2 gigabytes per second, which if I go back to young Ben, when I built my first computer and thought that I'd be reading off at a gigabyte a second, I'd have been an excited young chap. So I'm gonna turn the PC off, get it all ready to dismantle, bring you along on this exciting voyage of coffee and network cards, video editing.
Stream the dish.
Okay, so basically this system is built on the AMD Threadripper processor, which came out and did a good job of competing against Intel. And for what you get, it's a lot cheaper than getting a stupid high-end Intel processor. and I built this on a budget relative to how much you can spend on a video editing PC, and I opted to not go the Mac route because of the fact that, well, two reasons: price, and this is modular. AMD RX 580 graphics card, which is hench. It's got a pretty full-on power supply unit. I think it's 1200 watts because, you know, as I expand this over time, I want to make sure I've got enough headroom for power. It's got 64 gigs of very fast RAM, which is great for working with 4K footage. It's liquid cooled, so in here you've got this whole crazy liquid water cooling system. So there's a block on the processor because it gets very hot, and then it feeds liquid into this. This whole thing here is a radiator, a 3-fan radiator, so it does a really good job of keeping that processor cool. And then, yeah, it's running what's called an NVMe drive in here. You can't even, it's so small. It basically looks like a tiny little stick of RAM, and that's a very, very fast hard drive just for the operating system and the program. So it's kind of basically the fastest drive you can get for that kind of thing. It just means that the whole system is really, really snappy. And then installed on the back, so it's quite a cool system for installing other drives. I just have a terabyte solid state drive which sits on the other side of the motherboard and the other side of the case, and that's just flush against there. And I use that as a kind of scratch drive for editing. So if I want to edit something, I mean, previously, until we have this solution I'm about to install now, I'd transfer stuff from whatever drive I was storing stuff on, and I would transfer it onto the internal solid state here. That's basically it. It's a pretty good build. It does the job, and it did it for a lot cheaper than I could spec out, you know, what would have been an iMac Pro at the time of buying this, or even the new, Mac Pro. Amazing machines, but crazy money. Anyway, enough of all that. I'm going to install this network card and get hooked up with 10 gigabit Ethernet. Right, so should be just pretty much install it, screw it in, hope it works. Alright, we are in business there, everything's hooked up. Okay, we are back in place, and I need to go find the drivers because it's 2019. I have one of these. Do not have a CD reader. Have a Google. Oh, it's been a long couple of hours because this has not worked to plan, and then I forgot to vlog it because I was deeply embroiled with Dan on the phone, on WhatsApp, on everything, trying to solve this. Long story short, you need a router, a 10 gigabit Ethernet switch to run it like this. Because it's a NAS, so it's a network attached storage, it runs through a router, which has been fine. I've been running it through a router, a little network switch so far, but it's not 10 gigabits. And so I'm connecting this directly to the PC now, and that confuses the whole situation. It goes, where's the router gone? So it looked like we're gonna have to buy a really expensive switch, but Dan has found an article online on how to configure it so you don't need it. I've just spent the last while going through how to connect Synology NAS directly to PC, and I'm on step 27. It's a lot of steps, and there's a lot of IP DHCP configurations, so I'm going to crack back on that with my coffee. Glory days. Wish me luck. Right then, moment of truth. It works. This is good times. It works. We're in. Troubleshooted. What is the past participle of to troubleshoot? I'd love to know in the comments. Yeah, teamwork, me and Dan, good times. All right, so speed test. Let's see how this is looking. I'm going to move a file from my computer to the drive. I'm gonna move okay, I've got a 27 gig clip from download. I got the whole set, like a drum cam from our download show. Let's copy that in. Oh buddy, look at that. That's some speed. That's about 30 gigs in about 30 seconds. Now I need to test it out with some 4K footage and see if I can edit multiple streams of 4K off the drive, because if I can, it's gonna be good. Let's test it. Well, I'm delighted to report that I've just tested it in DaVinci Resolve with 4 streams of 4K footage. Now it was ProRes footage, which means that it's already been converted into a format that's easier on the computer to edit. But to be honest, that doesn't really affect the performance on the drive. It's actually reading a bigger file than if it was normal, what we call H.264 footage. But anyway, I'm getting deep on the video geekery. But basically, as far as I can tell, not only is that massively sped up the time to transfer all our footage onto our drive, but it also allows me to edit straight from that drive, so I'll no longer have to transfer to faster drives to edit off. So this is awesome news. We'll see how it works in practice on these new courses, but so far so good. Successful morning. So I'm going to crack on and do some editing now. See you in a bit.
Hello. It's Friday. Got back from Poland. Had a good gig with Frogleap, Mystic Festival, all that was fun, and yeah, I haven't really picked up the camera much this week. Been pretty busy with like a lot of admin-y, like thinking, planning, strategy stuff, which is kind of difficult to share or isn't ready to be shared yet. So sorry it's been a little quiet. I know Ben's been doing some stuff, setting up like new home networks and technical stuff like that, which has been very exciting for him, but probably not very exciting for you. What else is going on? The Guitar Workouts course is coming. The reason that hasn't come yet is because we are launching this whole new kind of strategy called workshops, which is basically the way I kind of see it as a course is kind of something that teaches you the fundamental techniques, the basics and all of the things you need to know to be able to play an instrument or have a musical skill. And then a workshop explores a specific niche within one or more instruments. So we have the guitar course, for example, but a guitar workshop might be, like these workouts or playing over changes or, how to improvise, stuff that's, quite a niche subject, which you can focus on kind of once you've built the skills that are available to you in the guitar course. So we wanted to kind of get all of the admin-y development stuff sorted first, so that we could make the Guitar Workouts workshop our first proper workshop, instead of trying to make it a weird course on the website. Basically a load of infrastructure stuff that, while it probably doesn't seem any different to you, actually makes a huge difference to us. So we've just been getting everything ready because we're really aiming to ramp up the amount of content we're going to be putting out with these workshops. So we want to have everything in place and everything ready to go now, so that it doesn't become a stress later down the line, or it doesn't delay anything in the future. So it's taken a lot longer than we anticipated, but for very good reason, and I'm happy that we're putting all this really good foundation in place now, so that when we launch it and when we come to launch future ones, which should be happening very soon, then everything will be in place for us and everything will happen nice and smoothly. So Guitar Workouts is getting much closer. I've been doing all of the stuff around it, like making sure all the tabs are good, writing up all the lesson descriptions, getting everything in order, re-watching all the lessons. Like, I discovered that the one of the lessons was duplicated for some weird reason, so we had to re-render that. So just when all these projects are so big, like fairly obvious mistakes can happen and can often get missed even in like a first run through of everything. So just being really meticulous and going through everything is what I'm doing. Some fun stuff coming up, hopefully kicking off the filming of our second workshop, but first workshop in this kind of new format since we've launched it in a few weeks. I'm not going to give you too much information yet, but let me assure you that when we're doing it, we're going to be sharing a whole load of content, and all of our social media is going to pick up, and basically it's going to be a massive kick up the behind for all of us at Musicisum, and I can't wait to do it. So calm before the storm, as they say. Happy Friday. If you haven't checked out today's Riot Act podcast, then go and do that. And what podcasts do you listen to? I listen to podcasts a lot now, but I fly quite a lot more, and I'm always looking for recommendations for good podcasts. So yeah, let me know. Anyway, I will pass it over to Ben, and he can probably show you him installing a network card or something. So, see you later.
Good morning. How's it going? It's early on a Sunday, but it is time to have a look at this and really get to grips with the new audio recorder that we're going to be using with Musicisum, which is going to be the Zoom F8N. What we've been doing so far is using an audio interface connected to my laptop and actually running a session in a DAW. We've been using Logic, doing a bit on Cubase, and so you're actually, you know, almost like a portable studio where you're connecting everything to an interface and then it's going into the DAW. And that's great in some ways, but you know, it means you've got to take a big rack-mounted interface and a laptop, and actually that is not particularly geared towards video features. And something like this is a very small unit that has enough inputs for us, and there's so many things about having a video-focused field recorder for what we do that makes it a much more practical choice. But the reason for today's learning sesh is to get comfortable on this thing, to test out all the features, but also to test out one of these for the first time. And this is an UltraSync 1. This is a timecode unit, so you might have heard us talk about wanting to incorporate timecode. So what these do, if you turn it on, you can see that it's got a clock running. It's basically a really accurate clock that gives you the frames that you're shooting as well. So it's not just seconds, it actually goes to however many frames per second you shoot in. So we shoot in 24 frames a second. It actually gives you each frame as well, which is just awesome. Why is that useful? Well, these connect to all of the devices that you use when you're filming. So the reason we've got 4 is it's going to connect 1 to each of the 3 cameras, and then the 4th one connects to the zoom. And on the back of the zoom, one of the reasons we've got this is it has a timecode input. So imagine that these are keeping like a master sync between our 3 cameras and the audio. And it means that when you come to put those together, when you're editing it and you want to come and make a multi-camera file, you want to edit between different angles, like a front shot and a side shot and a guitar close-up or whatever it is you're doing, it's just ready to sync because it's got this super accurate clock already burnt into the files. I've just wrapped up a solid 14.5 hours of studying the Zoom F8N field recorder and all of this timecode setup. I used an amazing course from a guy called Curtis Judd, who's an online audio for video guy, and I follow him on YouTube and I've learned a lot from him. So shout out to Curtis and his courses on learnlightandsound.com. Yeah, I just followed the entire Zoom course, and well, this is it. This is the Zoom. That little chappy there. It's a beast. It's an absolute beast. Really, really awesome bit of kit, but not super complicated, but very different to the way that we've been doing our audio so far. So I've had to do quite a bit of learning, and I wanted to absolutely learn it inside out, because next time I use it properly, it's going to be for a Musicisum shoot, and I want to make sure that it's, you know, I'm on point with it, because there's a lot to know. Particularly if things don't quite go to plan, you need to jump in and sort it out. So yeah, that's what I've had 2 solid days of learning all that and testing absolutely everything I can with it and trying everything that we need to do with it, and so far so good. I'm really happy, really confident using it now, and it's a fantastic bit of gear for something like this use, you know, audio for video specifically. So I just realised that the audio died on the last bit of vlog that I shot. This mic, sometimes the batteries run out and I don't realise, and then I do a whole vlog thing and then I go back and I go, it's not good. So yeah, I actually just got back from an amazing session yesterday. Tosca was asked to go to Metropolis Studios in London, incredible studio, to do a live set. So it was recorded and filmed, all like seriously awesome production, and it was that event was put on by the wonderful people at Boss, and they are Boss is at life. and they're good people. It was good. It was such a good evening. I'm quite tired because I got back about 2:30 in the morning, and woke up fairly early because I have a little girl, and she is her own natural alarm clock. She don't care. She's like, Dad, you might have got home late, but I'm up. So all good in the world. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this week's vlog. It was a very technical one from my point of view. We did a load of timecode stuff, a load of working out what all this stuff does to work. I'm really excited about it. Like, so far it seems to be working exactly how I'd hoped it would, and put all that stuff together, it's going to allow us to do a much kind of faster workflow. And when it comes to actually editing this stuff, it should all, fingers crossed, work and be good. I'm sure it will. I have faith. Do you have faith? Join me in having faith in our technical prowess of making online music courses. So, hope you enjoyed this week's vlog. Make sure you subscribe and give it a like. Share it with people that might be interested in following along on this journey with Ben and Dan's mystical, magical music journey into the world of online music education. See you soon.